Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of Mad Max. We think, based on the way the plot has been moving, that this will most likely be the final episode, to the point where I'm just slightly concerned that this episode might be like 20 minutes long. And if that happens, then we've hopefully made some contingencies to be able to roll into something brand new. But there's miles to go before there. We're going to jump in here, and as I recall, we were just going out. We had just reunited Hope and Glory together, and we were headed out to something new. I'm trying to remember what it was. And thank you for the follow to Padakin. Oh, you're having a wonderful Sunday so far.
Where is it?
So I think he's talking about his car. I think that...
saw a huge cloud of fire to the south recently by the wall. Could it be?
So last... Oh, here we go.
Gone. Where is he? Where's the car? Hey!
Be still. My fingers ain't dirty, you're working. Where's the hunchback?
Where is he? Where is the car?
I don't know. I heard he said he was taken to where it was born. He said he cared about it. He raged about that wagon like he was raging about some fine dame.
The ship. You let him go.
No.
You let this happen.
That's no affair of mine.
It is now. I need your fastest machine.
It's yours. Take what you need.
Your machine is gone. You were betrayed. So what? Stay with us. Make a life. When are you gonna have another chance?
Our contract is done. Hey.
It's a present. For you.
Together we can build more than a life raft.
And hello to Caroluna.
Never should have trusted the hunchback. Too close now.
Max has lost Max has currently lost contact with Chum and the Magnum Opus, which restricts access to the garage and signal Chum functionality. Okay, well, I'm having a difficult time siding with Mad Max here because everything was perfectly fine up until Max suddenly announced or let slip to Chum Bucket that he was intending to ditch him and go across the Great White by himself, or the Great Silence, whatever it's called. Okay. This vehicle has some different handling, so I'm just trying to get a sense for it. I think I might get some scrap for just talking to this guy. I don't need it, or this person.
Hee-haw. I saw that slick ride of yours spin off in a cloud of dust. To the south, I think.
Yeah, like, I don't need that 50 scrap, but only had to step out and have a quick chat. It feels to me, and I could be mistaken, but based on the dialogue, Chum Bucket had one request, which was, I care a lot about the car, I want to go where the car goes. This is, as the name implies, my magnum opus. This is my greatest work. This is what I care about. And Mad Max, for no reason, said, no, go get fucked. I'm leaving and I'm going alone. That's your seat is where the fuel canister goes. And Chum Bucket was like, well, wait, then where do I sit? And instead of just saying, well, how about in the passenger seat or in the back seat such that it exists? We'll even like strap you to the roof if that's what you want. Like, nope, just treat him like trash. So for Chum Bucket to at that point say, well, I'm the one, like Chum Bucket has put all Max ever did was say, I want these parts. It was always clear that Chum Bucket was the one who was doing all of the work, and he never asked for anything in exchange. He never said, I need food, I need water, I need protection. I think he said, like, I need tools. If you want me to physically do what you're asking, I need certain parts in order to make that happen. And in the end, the only thing he ever asked for was to be able to go where the car went. Which, by the way, Max, works out to your benefit because he's a better mechanic than you are. And, sorry, I need to get off this topic because it just irritates me so much. And it's giving too much attention to this one aspect of the game where, oh boy, my overall time with Mad Max has been exceptionally positive. I have very, very much enjoyed this game, and especially in a game where the story has always been secondary to the gameplay. I feel like at this exact moment, I have a lot to say about the story and would probably clock the story at being, 10% of the overall experience. And I might be estimating high there. I briefly flashed in my mind 5%, because so much of the experience is the solitude of being out in the waste, surviving the storms, exploring salvage sites, getting into the fights, the car combat, tracking down the convoys, and none of that has any meaningful story content tied to it that I can remember. I mean, there might be one or two things where hey, to introduce this concept, go do this. But there, just like 13 Sentinels is here is the story, and then over there is the combat and the gameplay. And these two concepts exist almost entirely separate from one another. Not really, but almost entirely separate from one another. Mad Max is actually kind of similar, where 90% of the game is the ability to explore at your leisure, go where you want, do what you want, and understand that you are at all times prepping up for where the story is going to go. And then every once in a while, the story comes in and says, hey, there are characters as well. Which is perfectly fine. I really like the structure of this game. Okay. Really could use some better traction tires on this one. I will say this car has been a lot of fun to drive, too. So I just wanted to share that perspective, because between last episode and now, it's oh boy, I have some thoughts about Mad Max as the quality of his character. Note, not the quality of the writing. That's actually a separate topic in my view, but I can't... No, if I try to drive... It looked like a giant ramp for a second, but if I try to drive up that, it's not smooth enough. So the car is just going to go completely off the rails. Oh, I could smash this up. I didn't come out for this, but... We got company! Okay, but why didn't the canisters go up? Hold on a second. Oh, now I can. All right. I don't know why this wouldn't fire before. What's the maximum range on this? Because I really don't want to get... But that does go up, though, right? Like, that's on fire. Huh, okay. Should I do a little pose here? Yeah, I kind of like that. Hold on. What's the video mode or capture image? Okay. And now... Ugh. Also, Carolina was saying that Max is ready to build a family. I'm ready for him to build a family. Like, look, Max, if you're so damaged that you can't... I wasn't a fan of when he, like, he didn't throw, but he sort of, like, put the little girl on the ground. Glory is her name. Just sort of, like, didn't toss her, but also didn't stand her on her feet. Just, like, put her on her back on the ground, on the dirty ground. And, like, everything is dirty all the time in this world, but still, like, you could have just stood her up. Yeah, I do feel that there's something of a disconnect between some of the game mechanics and some of the writing, and we touched on that in the last episode. And if we do hit credits in this episode, we can sort of maybe revisit that. But some disconnect is fine if it's in service to, like, better gameplay.
The car, can I? Should never, ever trust no one.
Oh, there it is. Not here for too much of a purpose, but this person might know what's going on with Chumbucket.
Don't raise your weapon at me. I'll tell you instead, the warlords who entered that big ship was the Scrotus himself and his underling, the Stank Gum. You want to die? Go right in.
Oh. Thanks for the heads up. Can I or should I... Is there, like, binocular stuff to do here? Oh, that was another thing. Like, the way that this game handled the... like, scouting out a location, how it would sort of, like, you could put on the binoculars, but then it would mark, oh, here's a war crier, here's a defensive thing. And then in a lot of times, once you got the sniper rifle that was very early, you could thin out some of those defenses on the way in. Like, that was just really smartly done. I have to say, it didn't have the same level of satisfaction as when you really nail it in, like, Far Cry 3 or whatever, but it still, like, worked really well.
You came for me. You came for me.
I should kill you for this.
Hail the champ! The ruination of Stank Gum, they said. The one who thieved my big block and my concubine. Not to mention the one who ran a saw blade into Lord Scabrous Scrotus's very brain bag. As if cutting dead stump. Saw your ride. Followed it here. We all followed it here. Found your monkey. And that monkey was made to sing. About you. A woman. A child. A whole little family. You must be the daddy. Well, now, Daddy's gonna die. final
Oh!
Always. Oh.
Okay, I like to acknowledge when I'm just straight up failing, and I assure you I'm just failing right now. Trying to figure out his tells for when he's going to do a blockable versus an unblockable. Dodge! Alright, now I kind of gotta wait for him to decide what he's gonna do. I'm just saying, if from a distance I saw, like, my boss getting work this way, maybe I'd be in the mood for a promotion. And just step back and see how this all turns out. Come on. I mean, I can shoot him, but I doubt my ability to get the trigger off before he sticks those knives in. Let's try it. I guess that worked. Less effective than you might hope. Okay. Apparently we're just gonna do this. Come on. And there I'm just pressing too late because I'm trying to get the perfect parry, because that knocks him down. It opens him up to so many more hits.
Lord Scrotus was here! He heard that monkey song and he dug it about a little family! A woman, a child, a dog. Lord Scrotus gonna hurt you more than you could ever hurt me. He's there right now, killing him slow! In all sorts of tasty ways! Catch the show!
You better hit him with the car. Alright, and once again you will have noticed that the sound was...
I took it upon myself to bring her back to her birthplace. My angel, the magnum was...
You stole it.
Righteous, it was not. I confess. But what could this lonely acolyte do? What could I possibly do? You meant to take her from me. You meant to plant your petrol tank back here.
So?
So? Where would somebody be? What's my blame?
It doesn't matter anymore.
Alright, cool. I made a guess that I wanted to head north, and it looks like that was, you know, that's where Farah lives. Freya.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you should not have trusted him. See, that... Chumbucket, that's the thing. He was going to leave you behind. You did not misunderstand him. Unless there was a reveal there, like, maybe I got distracted just looking at the map to see where I was going to go.
I was scared for her. Doctor me! Doctor me! What are you going to do?
So I take it what is happening here, and everyone watching probably has the same sense, is that Max is feeling very distressed, that he does care about what...
Why do you not speak?
What happens to Hope and Glory, and he's having a very difficult time reconciling that because it's bringing back all the memories of what happened to his family from before the fall of civilization, and he'd sworn to himself that he would absolutely never care for anybody again, and yet here it is, and he's trapped in this looping nightmare of losing people that he cares about, and he's daring...
My ally! My ally! Come, speak to me!
He's daring not to hope that there's something that he can do about it this time, that it's not going to turn out the way that it did last time. As far as I know, we're never given clarity on what specifically happened to his family, and that's fine. You know, not everything has to be explained. It was bad.
I know it was wrong what I did, but what could I have done?
All right, can I make it through here without ramming things? Holy hell, are we only at the jaws? Oh, we've got a ways to go. Oh, man.
Not certain. No, not certain that Lord Scrotus has killed them. It is not certain!
And I think the thing is, like, I really like Chumbucket. I like his whole religion. I like his, like, he seems good-natured and very willing to help others. It seems like, hey, man, don't abuse me, and I'm really, really good at what I do. Don't ask for anything in exchange except basic human decency. And frankly, even if he did ask for something in exchange, like, that's... you're allowed. Well, as we're driving here, since Cara Luna's in the chat, I will shout out the fact that Cara Luna has, in recent weeks, been doing some Terra Tech, but also has turned some attention back towards space engineers, and I don't know why, but like, well, I mean, I do know why. Cara Luna makes the games look extremely fun, but space engineers in particular, like, it still looks like, boy, I'd love to jump into that. It's just been a matter of time and availability, because usually when I have time to game, we want to do a stream, and I don't, like, Space Engineers is a great game to go in and tinker, and I doubt my ability to make a Space Engineers stream or series as entertaining as Cara Luna does it, because I don't have, like, much of a goal in mind. It's sort of like prospecting some asteroids, maybe setting up a little mining base, but my designs all tend to be extremely, like, functional, extremely basic. I haven't done anything with mods or anything like that. There are some mods for some extremely popular and common mods for Space Engineers, which do things like relax the upward speed limit that exists in the game to maintain stability, and people have done all sorts of tests to say, well, you can actually get it up to here and it's fine, no problems. But I don't even load those. Like, I've
Please, where are we going? No, Saint, not back here. Please, Saint, let's go somewhere else. Anywhere. There's nothing for us here. Please.
Oh, okay, but well, now in fairness, Chumbucket, where did you think we were going?
You're too late. Scrotus was here. You okay, baby? Come here. Come on. Come on. Okay.
Nobody will remember my name.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. I'll remember. I promise you.
blood across the lands.
Burn through your veins. Where is it? Where is it?
Hope and Glory are gone, dead by the hands of Scrotus. He will pay for this. Okay.
He murdered them. Scrotus. I will have his blood.
Alright, so we've driven out to the edge of the world. As though we're not going to have his blood. Let me
find him. And end him. But where is he?
Nobody knows where he goes. Saint, only his war boys know his patterns, his zigzags and desperate unholy movementations.
The blood bag upside down at the organic mechanics. He called himself Scap. Was a war boy, he said. Was with Scrotus. He said so. Oh, he'll know. Yeah, he'll know. And he will tell me.
I'm kind of back and forth about this because, on the one hand, I've got to go get vengeance. But on the way, why not stop here and get some extra scrap I don't need?
He's naked. Pound him to a pulp.
Hey guys, I've had a bad day so far. How are you? Another thing, and like, I'm doing this just because I like how silly it is that he'll stop to have some random brawl, but I actually do want to stop at a stronghold so I can refill all my guns and shivs and stuff. So I'm looking for what now? Like a couple pieces of scrap? So what I was going to say is, Hope had said, stay here with us and build a family, and it seemed to me abundantly clear that Max was never going to do that. He wanted to go get his car. Maybe he wanted to, like, change his mind about the way that he was treating Chumbucket. I'm not sure. Oh, hold on. I want to read what Carol Luna is saying as well. But, because he did respond to that comment that I made about the mods. So, but it's like also, let me just check here. One more piece of scrap. I'm not sure I'm gonna spend a lot of time looking for this, but I really need the food. Let's look up the hill here. Maybe the scrap is up in this. Yeah, this looks like it. Like, what at that point in the story, what could Max have done to get an alternate, you know, to have an alternate outcome? He didn't know that Scrotus knew anything about Hope and Glory. He himself didn't know that Hope and Glory would be a potential vulnerability for him, that Lord Scrotus would decide to get back at him by going after them, because he'd worked so hard to keep himself completely divorced from their situation. The only other action he could have taken would have been to bring them with him to go get the magnum opus, and I honestly don't know if there was room for them in the vehicle that he was driving. Nothing safe. So I don't know that he could be held or should feel responsible for what all happened to them. At the same time, it's very difficult, based on everything else that's happened, to say, boy, Max, if only you had cared about their well-being a little bit earlier, back when you could have done something about it, then maybe things could have turned out differently. And that goes for Chumbucket. Like, how did Max end up in this specific situation? Like, we saw what happened to Hope and Glory. At that moment, there wasn't much that he could have done about it. But what about a day earlier? What about before he decided that he was going to tell Chumbucket that Chumbucket had no place with him in his vehicle? Then Chumbucket wouldn't have taken the magnum opus and gone away. And what if he had said, hey, Hope, I'm not in a position to have, like, any sort of relationship. I'm actually a pretty dour and unpleasant person, and I hurt those around me, so you can go get fucked. But I am gonna just go help you get your daughter, and you're not gonna have to wheedle me about it. You're not gonna have to, like, come after me and ask me multiple times and, like, save my life multiple times in order to get me to do one small thing. Like, I feel like everything would have turned out a lot differently if he had just treated the people around him with a fraction of the respect and agency that they were treating him. Oh, this has nothing to grab onto at all. All right.
Some big pad armor on these small ones, huh?
Wow, nothing at all to hook onto. All right. I mean, I know I looked at that on the last one. I thought maybe this would be a different model. All right. Okay, now we can do the little broadside. I don't know what I'm getting at. So, yeah, let's stop someplace and just get ammo and stuff. And, oh, look at this. Yeah, right next to Pink Eyes. That's great. We'll refill our water. Sorry, I have full water. What I don't have is full ammo. Get gas, you know, that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, Carol, so, yes and yes to Caroluna, who says, I think that he really did care earlier, but he didn't want to. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. And the trouble is that in his dedication to not caring, he imperiled all of them. And I understand that this is a world where personal attachments and kindnesses can put you into a situation where you're taken advantage by others, sometimes to the point of getting killed. I do get that. But Max has been in a really good position personally for a very long time now. Yep, okay, everybody, we're full up. And before we go, like, do I want to change this out? I actually really like Death Rattle, I gotta say. And, okay, so, what am I missing here? Use hint on history relic photo from Pink Eye. No. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't know what that means, and I'm not in the mood for riddles. All right, and let's go here. And could yes, I do want to acknowledge that I could fast travel, but oh, hold on.
So innocent.
Oh, I wanted to hit him. I will say this. This is not a case where, oh, Max, if only you had finished off the bad guy when you had a chance, then none of this would have happened. Mad Max opened the game by chainsawing Scrotus in the face all the way through his head. So if the dude didn't die from that, and by the way, would have kept going except for other circumstances, then the second time that he encountered Lord Scrotus, we punched the shit out of that guy. And it was only again through other circumstances that it didn't end with Scrotus. So at no point did Mad Max say, I'm walking away from this, you've learned your lesson. So let's give full credit to Lord Scrotus for his role in, you know, all of this, in murdering Hope and Glory. Max did everything he could to stop Scrotus. Hold on. I'm gonna say no to a little free scrap that I absolutely positively don't need.
It is torment for him. Let him ponder his life.
Don't kill me, killer. Just want to give it a kudos to the speediest wagon I'd done seen. You beat lightning. Me, I'm gonna use a scrap to construct something as fast one day, like you.
Sorry, like that NPC vehicle, like look, they tried to interrupt the cutscene and the game wouldn't let them. Oh, but I don't want to use all my shotgun ammo. I might need it in there. Okay, but I also need my health. Bones and kneecaps. I just... Oh, I wasn't looking where the other end of the fire was going. Hopefully the guy I was talking to didn't get burned up. Seemed like he had a good plan. Carolyn is saying health is overpowered. Burned through about a third of my fuel just shooting jets of flame out. Yeah, I like this vehicle a lot. It's very tanky. It's got a good engine. It does require, as you can hear sometimes, a little bit of feathering around the turn so that it doesn't overpower, like overspin the wheels.
We could have mended you.
Oh, you know what else will mend me? Stopping off in this junkyard to get some scrap I don't need. Hold on, Ally Camps just added 740 scrap. Let's see how much I get from talking to this person.
Be still. Don't want to risk no. I know you. The Gastown champion. You're just a dream come true. So lean, kill crazy and wild like nature itself. Blood and guts draping your body, your hands gripping the slimy dead, bashing skulls, killing the cack out of one and all. Oh, I gotta say it. I love you. $50. And, like, I understand why those things are out there, because we got 740 odd scrap because we spent so much time investing in the projects, going around, sorting those out, because I enjoy doing those. But these little scrap encounters, like, hey, here's a little bonus. This is full throttle, just so you know. There we go. They put those guys in there because if you just want to beeline through the story, 50 scrap might actually be very helpful to you right now. So they give you lots of different options on how you are going to, how you're able to collect scrap in the game. And if you don't want to drive around vacuuming up map icons, well, I guess it's just a different map icon, isn't it? But I understand why those are in there, so that the player never feels like they have to grind too much to get the resources that they need. Way better to have more resources than you need than too few when you're trying to progress.
Stay away from him.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now, by contrast, I will say that another game that I feel like doesn't get this particularly right and is still, I think, actively being balanced is Evil Genius 2. It's a game that I think that they're continuing to work on how do we balance income and outflow. Hold on, Max is about to have the final showdown with Scrotus, so make sure that Max and the Magnum Opus are well equipped and upgraded before proceeding. I am as upgraded as I'm going to get. The very, very small amount of lost health from getting hit by that car. I'm ready for it.
Where's Scrotus? Scrotus? I will tell you where to find him. Your fame walks on its own, and your shadow has grown. And my blood has fueled legend. Scrotus is settled on Roadslide of the Purgatory Flatlands. 2 weeks, he said. A special! Bring his corpus gratis to the organic mechanic! And let the blood serve! Now my blood returns for you, Scrotus! Now my blood returns!
Oh, get off me, man! Arrgh.
Hit my knee.
Fight! Flee!
Well, I don't want to run out of fuel doing this, so we'll be a little bit careful.
Kill him.
Okay.
Take his life like he took ours.
I'm not yet sure how to assault the main vehicle there.
Do it. The only thing you know how. Kill him.
It will tear that tire right off!
Until death.
Okay. We got through most of them. Is there anything on here to hook? Not that I see. Is there anything on here to shoot? Also Zilcho. Well, I can shoot some fire at it. Oh, it explicitly says eliminate his escort. Okay, I didn't see that. I am legitimately worried right now about running out of fuel. Okay, I'm declaring myself the winner of that.
The tank! That one hit could cause a cleansing inferno!
Alright, that's all the nitro that I have right now. It's going to take a minute to rebuild. No. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Fuel tanks on the sides! A weak spot if ever there was one!
Pull out the side armor with the harpoons to expose the fuel tanks. Yeah, I'm thinking shotgun, just because the Thunderpoon is so good for so many more things. Shotgun, believe it or not, the shotgun in this is sort of good for precision strikes against vulnerable targets. Normally it's your, I just want something dead right now gun in most games, but, oh, it doesn't quite have the range for this, though. Oh. I thought I could, Oh, okay, sorry. I wonder if, maybe if I blow one of these guys up, they'll have more fuel. Because I do like to use the flamethrowers when I can. I'm just waiting for this to recharge. I'm gonna see if I can,
It's rained! He hit nitro when he rammed!
Okay, yeah. We'll worry about fuel later. I'm gonna go after this guy. Because I've still got like a third of a tank. It's basically just don't use any more nitro, I think will get us there. Not nitro, the flame spitters. Do also have a fuel canister in the back, but I'm not sure how Chung Bucket feels about attempting to... Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Trying to refuel the Magnum Opus while it's driving at high speed.
Life back into her lungs still. Black fingers will heal her, say. Yeah.
Come on! What will we do?
Praise be! Her juices flow! Her valves are aglow with the cuttering pistons blow by blow! Yes!
Get off! Just one chance to get it. Now!
She will die! Oh, Snake! Get off! Never! I would rather breathe my last breath than watch her die! I am her protector! Her savior! No! Snake! Snake! Please! Please spare her! Please save! No! No! Please me!
Oh man, it was basically for nothing. He could have just...
Mine intercepted.
Bring the thunder.
No, there's no targets getting painted there.
You're black upon black.
I saw you.
Oh, hello.
Onlookers, I did. I saw you created the monster.
Okay, that was lame.
Sticks and stones! Break his bones!
So, if I can't hit him when he drives past, it seems heavily implied, and this is going in super slow motion, that at some point on the approach, I'll have an option to hit him. Or maybe I just toss it now. Oh, I'm working on it, Ghost of Chumbucket, who should be really much more pissed off at me than he is. No, see...
My knee. Beat my knee.
Alright, let me wait for a second. He's gonna do a charge.
Right your wrongs.
Okay, let me actually wait this time. He should be able to lock on. It should be happening earlier than this. Nope.
Use the thunder. Make him pay.
Hear me! Kill him! For her sake, the angel!
Oh!
You made him. Now take his life.
Boy, I am the master of not hitting him. So I just want to describe for everybody what my thought process is here. 99% of the times when you can hit something with one of these Thunderpoons, it gets like a painted crosshair and it'll like lock on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I guess it really is just like
I knew you would be the one to avenge
Chuck and
my
Duck.
death. Our death.
Like he's not gonna lock on, but you gotta sort of eyeball it and see if you can get it.
Paint my name in their blood. Paint my name.
See, so this is not gonna go far enough. And this might go past him, but I'm gonna give it a shot. There we go. All right, Max, I'm just letting you know, the head needs to be removed from the neck. You gotta be sure this time. Because he keeps coming back. Yeah, I see the shrapnel coming out of his torso as well, and what appears to be a codpiece? Boy, I didn't notice that before. Head from shoulders. Get him a good 20 meters apart. All right, this might get paused or worse, skipped. I really hope it doesn't get skipped, but I would like to just make sure that the music isn't too loud. So I'm going to risk doing an Alt-Tab out, and we're just going to dial the music down a bit, and then I want to make sure that the credits have a chance to play. Let me just see if I can make sure that I switch back without clicking past the credits. There we go. So hopefully the music is much softer now. So, final thoughts. And a lot of them you've heard between the last episode to this episode. One of the things that I like in open world games is the opportunity to explore a map, find resources, spend those resources to upgrade myself, my equipment, my characters, advance the story, some stuff like that. And Mad Max did that really well. This was a series where if you go back and watch the various episodes that will be arranged into a collection by my producer, we would go for entire episodes without ever talking about Mad Max at all. And that's not an indictment of the game. It's the freedom to have a game that we can share with the audience where we get to talk about movies or television shows or recent events or whatever. What's your favorite Marvel movie? What's the best comic book that you ever read? What's the best game that you've played in the last 3 years? All sorts of different topics. And all of that is happening as a backdrop to this game that has really excellent mechanics. So again, when it comes to the fist combat, like the ground melee combat, Mad Max draws a lot of inspiration from the Batman games and not really the Spider-Man games. I think Insomniac Spider-Man came out after this by quite a bit, and it does have a different feel and flow. It looks similar, maybe based on the combat counter and the fact that you can do additional things once you get your combat counter up higher, but that's not really how this game works underneath. When Max lands a number of successful hits, he enters rage mode. That gives him the ability to do things like punch through shields or do pile driver attacks that land with a lot more force. It feels impactful, it feels rewarding, it feels powerful, and on all of those things, Mad Max did it about as well as any game that I can think of, absent the Batman Arkham games, the primary Batman Arkham games, and Shadow of Mordor specifically. Someday I need to revisit Shadow of War, but my memory is that it didn't feel as good in that because it really wanted to swarm you with lots of enemies. And Mad Max feels a little bit less tight when there's a large group of enemies attacking you. It feels like it doesn't properly animation cancel at times that it should, or the enemies aren't... Like, the combat is balanced in a way where if two enemies go to attack you at the same time, you just cannot counter them both. And since you don't often know to anticipate that multiple enemies will attack, it leads to you either have to play more cautiously, which will really break up the feel and flow of the combos, or understand that at some points you're just going to take a punch in the back of the head. That's not much of a criticism. It just doesn't beget the same... It doesn't expose the same level of polish that the Batman Arkham games come, where, like in Arkham City and Arkham Knight, if you take a hit, it's because you didn't react swiftly enough or in the proper way, and it always feels like, boy, I should have done that better. And it's like there's always a higher echelon to aspire towards in the Batman games, and here it feels like there's a hard cap on how well you can do, absent playing very cautiously, because okay, there's 8 guys all trying to punch me at the same time. There's no such thing as a multi-counter, so all you can do is try to position yourself carefully enough so that no 2 or 3 attacks will ever come in at the same time. Not a criticism, just an observation on how that goes. The car combat fares better. The car combat in this, what is the closest analog that I have? I don't play a lot of or any Twisted Metal games ever. I'm trying to think of any game that I've played that even approximates what this game does, and the closest thing might be, again, Batman Arkham Knight, and this game is light years ahead of that. So whatever it doesn't quite meet up to in terms of the ground combat, it excels at the vehicle combat. The vehicle combat in this game consistently feels fantastic. Sometimes it's like, I don't understand why there's nothing for me to shoot. Like, why can't I shoot the tire out with a shotgun right now? And the answer is just balance reasons. If every vehicle could be disabled by shooting out its tires, then every vehicle combat section in the game would be trivial. So they semi-arbitrarily assign, okay, this vehicle has armored wheels and you cannot shoot them off with a shotgun, but you can pull them off with a harpoon once you upgrade it enough. Or shoot it with a thunderpoon and that's going to explode it and take off at least a solid chunk of its armor. Or light it up with the flamethrowers and that's going to do some damage over time and really melt through it once the armor is done. So they added a lot of... It's tough to call it variety with the combat, with the car combat, but they added reasons for each of the different weapons to exist, along with just the straight-on ramming, the side slam that you can do that I confess I stopped doing as much as I probably should have been doing. I think the car combat in this was really well done, and I enjoyed it, and I looked forward to every upgrade and every opportunity to drive a different vehicle. I didn't drive most of them, but that's because I found ones that I enjoyed and just kept going with that. This is remarkable to me. Like, Mad Max is a very good game from a studio that, to be blunt, I don't feel has generated a reputation for making very good games. What else is Avalanche Studios known for? We've talked about it a couple times during our playthrough. The Just Cause games. Just Cause is 4 games in, and they've got one good game in there that I like, and that's Just Cause 2. I've played Just Cause 1. It was awful. And by the way, Avalanche Studios may not have been responsible for that one. I'm talking about the franchise now. So if there's differences in the development studios or like directors of the different games, I am simply unfamiliar with those. But Just Cause 1, 3, and 4 are not good games. I don't enjoy them for a variety of reasons that I can go into if anybody's interested. But is this going to dump me back into the open world? It looks like it is. It's done. The Plains of Silence await. Which, I mean, like, you have successfully completed the story of Mad Max. However, there are still plenty of other things to do. Chumbucket and the Magnum Opus, along with some other major characters, are back again. Feel free to continue exploring, tie up loose ends, and upgrade your cars you see fit. The Wasteland is your playground. And we can go get the Interceptor, which...
The Magnum Opus is tuned up and ready to go. Where shall we take her next?
Oh, hold on. Maybe we want to end on his black leather jacket? Hold on a second. Now let's go to Max. Let's upgrade or change his jacket. Yes. Okay. It's slightly different. I like it. I mean, let's go with it. And then, is there a shotgun upgrade? Double-barreled sawed-off shotgun from the old days. It's reliable and reloads quicker than the other makeshift shotguns. All right. So for what that's worth, we did it. His iconic shotgun. It's fired off once for good measure. Can I see it? It does not look that much different, but... Boom! And how fast does it reload? He should pull it out and do it in a second. Okay. Primarily, like to say it in the fewest number of syllables, Just Cause 3 and 4 add a lot of stuff. It's just, like, garbage. And actually, I don't like his black jacket as much as I like his armor. Yeah, because look at how, like, I don't know, meager he looks here. No, we're going to go out like this. I like this outfit way better. Just Cause 3 and 4, the developer appears to have decided that what people really like about Just Cause is not the edge of your seat, nail scraping action of trying to blow up all of these things while there's a surge of enemies coming in. They seem to think that what we want is a big physics playground where we can chain things together with tethers and boosters and floaters and build these big contraptions which are always slower and less efficient and less satisfying than simply shooting something with a big rocket. And as they've moved further and further and further towards wild physics playground, the combat, which should be the center point of the Just Cause universe, has just taken a further and further back seat to a point where the game is simply never satisfying to play. So to jump into Mad Max, where combat is such a center point, both on foot and in the vehicles, and it feels so good. It's like, yo, Avalanche, you can make a really good combat-based game. Why are you not doing this with Just Cause? They have such a fixation on, let's allow the player to get into a jet, get into a helicopter, get into a wingsuit, go anywhere they want, anytime they want, with absolutely no restrictions. The AI and the enemies in the game have no hope of catching up with you. Like, you are basically immortal all of the time unless you stop and take the time to do some elaborate chain explosion event, which is the only thing that's ever going to leave you vulnerable. And by the way, you should probably just shoot it with a rocket, because that would be faster. And it is an example of a studio absolutely not understanding what made Just Cause 2 so good, and why Just Cause 2 remains by far a high watermark of the franchise. And then they come out with a game like this, which it doesn't really feel like a AAA game. We'll talk about some of the technical bugs in just a second, but it's definitely a really solid AA game, and this game should have received a lot more attention than I feel like it got. It should be talked about. Like, everybody's looking forward to the next Just Cause game. Not enough people are looking forward to the next Mad Max game, because there's not going to be one, because I don't think that this one caught on in the way that it should, and that is very disappointing. Yeah, Carolina says, looks-wise, this one for sure. The black one is just black. Yeah, agreed. Now, the technical issues, which, by the way, were, as far as I could tell, largely non-existent up until episode 22. So these are not severe, and in my view, really do not detract from the game. Number one, in certain cutscenes, the sound would become desynced from the visuals. I have no idea why that's happening. If it ever happened in previous cutscenes, I didn't notice it. If this game were more story heavy, it would dock a lot more. It's not, so that really didn't bother me. Secondly, in episode 22, there was like a mission that I had to straight up quit the game because it bugged out and I could not progress. And I'm trying to think. And there was one point where like the game audio just cut out. The music was there, but all the sound effects for the game were not. Why did that happen? No idea. If I was a professional reviewer, the issues that I observed in the game would knock this down by like a quarter of a point. The technical issues were so far and few between, and it's maybe the one bugged mission that I had to replay. I don't care. And Carolina is saying you played this on PC. Yes, this is all on PC. I think if I push a button, yep, there's our keyboard prompts that you see there at the end. But yeah, you move the stick, and here's the controller prompts. So, technical issues, nah, don't worry about them. They exist. And there's one other thing which was very difficult to pin down. The game itself, at all points, ran at a solid 60 frames per second. I never noticed so much as a hiccup in the frame rate on our rig, and it was buttery smooth, and it looked and played great all of the time. The cutscenes frequently looked really bad, and bad in a way where some of them I did not want to look at the screen because I felt like it might make me nauseous. The weird hitchiness, and I don't know if it was as prevalent watching it on Twitch. I don't know if but here this game looked great up until some sort of a cutscene would start, and then it was like this herky jerkiness of it. It was very difficult to describe, but it was like every half second the frame would just drop to 20 frames per second for a second. It was a noticeable hitch that happened frequently through scene changes, through the way that an individual scene would play out. And this is happening as their sort of like shaky cam presentation style was moving the view all over the place, and it was deeply unpleasant. But what's odd is that it wasn't every cutscene, it wasn't every time. We never, in 23 episodes, managed to pin down, was it something on our end? And it's just sort of like a note And maybe that one specific thing would knock the game down like a half point. I don't know. It sounds really dire because I'm sitting here thinking like it was on the verge of making me nauseous. But again, we would play the game for 15 hours without having a cutscene. So how much can you really dock it? And that's what brings us to the final point that I want to make. And this is something that you've suddenly heard a lot about in the last 2 episodes, which was the writing around Max as a character. And this actually did bother me a lot. And not enough to recommend against the game, but Mad Max, and this happens particularly in open world games, where the story is written from A to B to C to D, and you get your 4 acts, and then maybe after that, they go around and they add side quests and side objectives and additional areas that you can explore and maybe further things that you can do to gain experience points. And sometimes there's a very steep disconnect between the story that they wrote for this character and the protagonist and the world that he lives in and all of the other stuff that will actually come to represent a majority of what you're doing. And although I understand how this can happen, it still does not feel acceptable to me from an immersion and an engagement standpoint. Like, I want to engage with your story. We just finished up 13 Sentinels. I did my level-headed best to keep track of what was one of the most complicated stories of any game I've ever played, much less streamed. I care about this stuff. So when I'm trying to engage with your game and we have 15 to 20 hours of Mad Max stopping his car, whoa, hold on, stop the car, turn around and go back, get out of his car, and hand half a canteen of water to a perfect stranger for no reason other than the fact that he saw somebody that was in need, and then the next cutscene kicks off and Hope is pleading with him to please just go help her daughter who's in danger of being sold into sex slavery, or sold back into sex slavery, I guess. And he's like, no, I don't have time for this. I don't care about you. I don't owe you I don't owe you anything. And that he's saying these things on the back end of multiple points where she has gone out of her way to help him for, like, maybe her daughter was missing at this point. I don't know. She recognized that he was someone who could potentially help save her, like, 8-year-old daughter, and saved his life multiple times, including dragging him through a sewer of muck and grime to get to a doctor to save his life. And the way that he responded to that is like, I don't have time for this. I never asked for this. You don't owe me, and I don't owe you anything. He's just like, it's too much. It's too much of a disconnect. And in the last episode, like, it had been bothering me for a while that he lives in a world where, by and large, men and women appear to be treated as equals. We see, okay, I gotta say, a lot of the bad guys are all men. As far as I remember, I don't remember punching out a lot of female villains. But at the strongholds and stuff, men and women are living and working side by side. I don't get the sense that there's some sharp division between them, that women are just treated as baby farms all the time. It's not a world that goes there, except with Hope, where she is just the concubine and viewed as valuable for nothing more than staying clean, staying pretty, and staying available. And it super sucks that it's not like this is the whole world, but this is how this one character is treated, and nobody questions it, up to and including Mad Max. And when we first encountered them, I thought, okay, it feels a little bit weird that Hope and Glory are locked in this cage and that Mad Max doesn't feel any sort of way. But maybe he's thinking to himself, there's nothing I can do about this. I need to stay on good terms with this settlement. It sucks to be them, but there's nothing that I can do about it. And this is the nature of the world. Maybe, and by the way, and then over time, he would learn, no, fuck this. I'm not going to live in the world like this. The world is harsh and cruel, but that doesn't mean that I have to be, and I'm going to go help her. So the longer that went without being addressed, the more it was sort of like, well, this feels weird. Oh, I don't like this. I do not like this. And then, like everything that happened in episode 22, like the things that we just talked about, and that was where I just lost it. And if there is if we are to consider all of the strengths that this game has with its on-foot combat, its vehicle combat, I like the music, the voice acting was passable, and the effects work. Let's not leave that unstated, because I'm not sure that there's anybody in the industry that is doing dynamic destruction and volumetric explosions and physics-based, like the storms in this game looked fantastic. I have all of the good things to say about so many aspects of this game until we get to the writing, and particularly the interactions between Max and Hope and Chumbucket. And like Chumbucket, I sort of said my thing earlier. I really didn't like the fact that Chumbucket had given and given and given and given and given, and Max had taken so much and reciprocated so little. And I didn't, by the way, like the way that Chumbucket died. I guess I would have approved more if it had been for something, that Max didn't need to lose the magnum opus there, that he could have, like, I don't know. He saw it as being his one chance to kill Scrotus. He gave it his absolute best shot. Scrotus escaped into his vehicle anyway, and then he and Max had to settle out. I guess I'm okay with it. Chumbucket chose to sit on the hood of the car and get launched over. That was a choice that he made, that the car was more valuable than his life. He knew that Max was what Max was going to do. Max knew what he was going to do. I guess they had both made peace with it. It doesn't feel good, but that's where it ended. But all of that happens after the point where Max had just like blithely told Chumbucket. It's like Max never considered anything else. He never put any consideration into, wait a second, Chumbucket has done so much for me. He cares about the car a lot. It's a very mutually beneficial relationship that we have. Maybe I should like consider this guy my partner instead of somebody who's briefly useful to me. It's just a thought. And if I come to dislike a main character, it is difficult to ever work your way back from that. And I think it is to the benefit of Mad Max that things really got ugly in like the very final stages of the game, because if some of these things had happened earlier, if he had been treating Chumbucket with open contempt like so many of the other characters, it would have been a different story. It would have been a different level of enjoyment between me and this game. And instead, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that Max earnestly is so damaged that he just lacks the capacity for much of the story to put any consideration into how he's treating others. So it's like the story of a very, very damaged man who realizes too late that he's not actually as hard and bitter and closed off to the world as he thinks he is, and has a sort of desperate scramble after it's too late to make right what he has set wrong. And if I frame the story that way, then I can, then I can sort of accept it. Carolyn is asking, how was it mutually beneficial? Chumbucket was just used by Max. Before meeting Max, Chumbucket's life was in urgent danger. Chumbucket had been chased out of one of the strongholds, and in meeting Max, he found someone who had the capacity to get him the parts that he needed to build the vehicle that he wanted to build. And as far as we can tell, Chumbucket didn't have an escape plan. He wasn't building the magnum opus with the intent that he would someday own it. He wanted to build the magnum opus so that it could exist. He had this vision of the perfect vehicle, the ultimate apex predator of this wasteland, and he wanted it to exist so that it could be used by somebody that he viewed as being righteous enough to do it justice. And Max was able to be that paragon for Chumbucket, and Chumbucket was able to bring to life this apex predator, this vehicle, the magnum opus, that only he alone was capable of building. So that's the mutually beneficial, the mutual benefit that I see existing between the two of them. had the capacity to be symbiotic, where Chumbucket could help Max do the things that he needed to do, and Max could help Chumbucket realize the vision, the artistic vision that was so important to him. Chumbucket is no different than a sculptor or a painter or a writer who has the imagination and the vision to bring to life an actual real work of art. It's just that Chumbucket's medium is car mechanics, and that's what he's really good about, and that's how I sort of see it. It is. Oh, and also, by the way, I think Max did afford Chumbucket some safety, where it's heavily implied that Chumbucket was abused, mistreated, talked down to, treated as a second or third class citizen, treated as untouchable, and Max didn't treat him that way really ever. Like Max didn't call him the hunchback until he got mad at him. Max afforded Chumbucket a higher level of respect and humanity than others appeared to be. I would have liked it to be a little bit more explicit, where, you know, Max shared food and water with him every once in a while, but I guess it's implied that that's happening as opposed to dedicating a lot of screen time to it. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more on screen, but that's my take on that. And that's it. I think that that's everything that I have to say about Mad Max. On our way out, I want to specifically thank Tashir Razay over at twitch.tv/TashirGames. He specifically, like we already owned the game. It was already something that was going to be played based on the strength of its reviews, but maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe it would have been one of these games that just sort of falls by the wayside. It's in the backlog, it's in the backlog, it's in the backlog. Oops, it's too old, and it doesn't play anymore. And hello to Azric, you're catching us right at the end. Tashir, more than anyone else, was the person who had been talking up this game and had very, very fond memories of it, and was right. I really, really enjoyed this playthrough. I have, you know, my ups and downs, as I tend to do, but on the whole, it was an extremely positive experience, and a lot of the credit for this being played when it was goes to Tashir. And I wanted to highlight this because Tashir has recently revealed on Twitter that he is in a very bad way, and I would recommend reading the Twitter thread that is currently, as of October 10th. Yeah, October 10th. Sorry, I had to double check the date. Pinned to the top of his Twitter, and I am calling attention to that because if you are a member of our extended Twitch community, whether you come in from Panda's Beach Babes, whether you're a member of the Rhythm section, if you come in from Mia's channel, or enjoy hanging out here, I advise taking a quick look at Tashir's Twitter, because if you have the capacity to donate even a small amount, he has been in a very, very severe medical situation for many months now. He's going to the hospital for additional testing. He has been robbed of his ability to do so many of the things that have provided for him and his family, and a lot of the plans that he had for 2021 have instead been replaced by a very extended health situation that I would leave to him to describe in his tweets and other forms of communication. I don't want to sum it up poorly or inaccurately, and it's best to have people tell their own stories. But I can say that we are arranging to make a donation ourselves, and honestly, in a case like this, even a couple dollars, even $5. Carolyn is asking, what is his Twitter? Let's check together right now, because I also need to find somebody to raid over to, and I want to make sure that I get it correct. So let's go take a quick look, because I know that this year changed from D-energetic to at Tashir Razay. So that is at TASHERRERISAY. It's Tashir Razay, his full name. So you can check that out there, and I believe that there is a link in there to donate to him through PayPal. There was previously also an option to donate through his Twitch page through Streamlabs, but we tried yesterday and today. Oh, Azric with the simple solution. Azric, thank you so much for just putting the link there. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. So, Azric, let's also, this is a very extended outro, but it is one that is important to me. So I trust that people will bear with me. What I'm going to do is also get the link to his PayPal, and we are going to put that into the Twitch chat as well as soon as I can figure out how buttons and keys on the keyboard work. Do not double up my audio, please. Okay. And now we'll just put this in here as well. Truly, you guys, if you have the capacity to donate, let's say $3, $5, it would really mean a lot, and it would be very, very valuable to him. So with that, that is everything that I have to say. We are going to go find somebody fun to raid, and it looks like Samalander is currently playing Factorio. I would very much like to be able to raid to him as frequently as we can, but Borlak has also raided to us in recent weeks, and I love the opportunity to return those favors. So we are going to do a raid over to Borlak, and that will wrap up our complete playthrough of Mad Max. Thank you guys all so much for joining us on this journey. Thank you so much for all of the wonderful conversations as we've gone through. Boy, we hit a lot of topics, and it's what open world games are best at, and I enjoyed a whole bunch. Azric is saying enjoy the rest of your morning, Angel and Carol Luna. Yeah, Carol Luna, thank you so much for hanging out. Azric, thank you for being here as well, and for participating in the watch party yesterday. I really enjoy horror movies. I really enjoy horror as a genre because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's more frequently fun and entertaining than others. So it's fun to sit with some friends and watch something through and just see their reactions and see something that you know we haven't seen in the past. It was a good time. That's going to do it. You guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.